Welcome on in to the Utah Blockcast. I'm Steve Bartle, Utah Insider for KSL Sports. Man, it's been a really fun week full of recruiting for Utah fans. Lots of fireworks, which is fitting for the 4th of July weekend. And so, happy 4th of July to everybody listening to this, watching on YouTube, wherever you find the Utah Blockcast. I appreciate you and hope you get to enjoy the holidays. So happy 4th to everybody. And, obviously quick shout out to Joey Chestnut, the most dominant athlete of our lifetime. 71 dogs in 10 minutes, just an absolute animal. I hope one day to be as efficient at anything as Joey Chestnut is at down and dogs. So shout out to the legend real quick, obviously recording this on Friday morning. But yeah, wanted to put together a quick episode. I actually, on this episode, I spoke yesterday with LaMarcus Bell, had a fun conversation with him, and so that is the headliner of the episode. But I'm going to talk a lot about Utah's recruiting this week and the impact of what they've accomplished on the trail this week with 3 additions, and so talk a lot about that. But also, Alex Jensen and the Running Utes picked up a pretty important commitment for a lot of fans, at least for a lot of concerns amongst the fan base with the roster construction and its makeup, and so they picked up a valuable one there as well. But like I said, this episode going to focus a lot on Utah football recruiting and my interview with LaMarcus Bell. Like I said, we talked for about 20 minutes and just had a fun conversation. I think you guys are really going to enjoy listening to LaMarcus. So. But first, let's dive into, obviously, the recruiting news. And it was a really productive week for Utah as they secured 3 of their top targets this cycle. On Tuesday, 4-star offensive tackle Kelvin Obot announced his commitment to the Utes. Then a couple days later on Thursday, the Pula twins, Jaron Kennan, announced their commitments to the program as well. So, getting started with Obot on Tuesday, obviously Jim Harding, enjoying his time out at Disneyland, gave us a little tease with on Monday with a little tweet he sent out, and I think everybody kind of picked up on what he was hinting at. If I did, and if I can, I know everybody else can. So obviously pretty exciting, and this is significant for a number of reasons. And first, Obot is just a really good prospect. He has all the prerequisites to be an instant impact player. He has the size, at 6'5", 280 pounds, and the frame to add mass without, compromising his athleticism. And when you watch him, he's a multi-sport athlete. You see the athleticism and the athletic qualities to make it at the Power 4 level. And obviously, playing in Idaho, there's Idaho is certainly growing and improving. It's kind of mirrors where Utah was 10 years ago in terms of high school recruiting and prospects. And so it's certainly growing in the state. You're seeing more and more D1 prospects come out of the state of Idaho, and Obot is just another one. And so, but still, I think there's not a lot of elite, great competition, right? If you're still comparing it to Utah or to Texas or California, there's certainly a drop off, and you see that on film. Like Obot, more often than not, just overwhelms the guys that he's lined up against. But you see you would prefer to see that in him dominating, which he does, on film. And so all of, his natural qualities are really exciting. And then, something that I learned about Obot from a conversation I had with a source familiar with Obot and his recruitment, and, specifically from Utah's perspective, is that, Obot is a really mature kid, and he went about his recruitment like an adult, and there's a strong belief that Utah landed the offensive tackle with the best blend of qualities to follow this blueprint that Coach Harding has established with Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu as 3-year guys. And it's that maturity, it's that adult-like approach to his recruitment where he's genuinely assessing things, and it's sort of reminiscent to guys like Jalen Johnson and Clark Phillips, and even he didn't work out, but Ethan Calvert, right? These are highly touted prospects who have a number of really strong programs involved in his recruitment. But when you actually break it down and you look at what Utah is about, that is a big reason why those guys committed to Utah. And Obot sees that in Utah. He sees the development of Fano and Lomu. He sees the opportunity, obviously, with them potentially moving on to the NFL next year, and just felt that this was the best opportunity for him to obviously get on the field and follow that path. And so, for Coach Harding, this is another big win for him, and his recruiting resume is really turning into something impressive when you look at what he's done over the last few years with the guys that he's brought in and developed over time. To add another one where you've beat out Michigan, Oregon, and Nebraska, that's really exciting. So Obot obviously joined the class, and he's currently the highest rated prospect in the class, and certainly provides the ceiling right now, and I think there's potential for that ceiling to rise here, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit. But then, on Thursday, to follow up Obot's commitment, the highly anticipated, what turned into the really highly anticipated announcement of the Pula twins, their commitment finally hit the social feeds as everybody was waiting with great anticipation for that announcement. Really exciting for Utah. Again, this is another valuable win for the Utes on the recruiting trail, essentially flipping them from UCLA and adding 2 top 10 in-state prospects to the class. And you look at what Utah's done now. You've added Isa Gallier and now the Pula twins. You've got those 3, and so you're feeling much better about Utah's in-state presence on the recruiting trail with those 3. And, with the Pula twins in particular, I think Coach Mike Simon deserves a ton of credit here for being just a consistent presence in their recruitment. I think Simon has really brought a positive vibe to that role and to that room, that receiver room, and to Utah's recruiting efforts. Landing the twins is a valuable resume builder for him. And I think it's just another encouraging sign of his potential in that role for Utah. So with the twins in particular, speaking of their games and all of that and their qualities, there's a lot to get really excited about with these two. The twins are really promising athletes. They're 6'2", 6'3", 190-pound type of long, lanky athletes that probably clocking 4.4, 4.5, in the 40-yard dash. So you like that. You like the strides. You like the game when you pop on the film and you watch these guys, on the field. You see the ball skills. You see the movement. I think, getting a little tougher and adding a little more physicality. These guys are big receivers, and I think adding a little physicality specifically at the line of scrimmage. These guys, if they can add that to how they play, I think they'll raise their profile even higher. And so I think that's going to be the big key for them is playing with a little more physicality on the outside. But these are prototypical outside vertical threat type of receivers. So, really exciting addition for Utah, and adding those two. With Jaron in particular, I think he's kind of viewed as the better wide receiver prospect. That's not to say that Kennan is bad, but just that Jaron has really honed in and has shown some really promising ball skills, some really elite ball skills, where if you throw it up and it's in a contested situation, he can make, the tough catch. He can make the acrobatic catch. He has those elite ball skills that are shades of a Puka Nacua. And I'm not trying to put him in that category just yet because Puka was truly incredible. But I think you see those flashes, those moments, and I think that's really exciting. And with Kennan, you see two-way potential for him where he could potentially play safety He's played in the OT7 circuit, with Yalier and his brother and Celesi Moa. And Kennan is, more often than not, dominating on the defensive side of the ball, where he's coming away with, multiple interceptions per outing. And I think there's a lot of excitement there. But these two are coming to Utah to play receiver, and you really like what you add in those two because, all the talk, and they're not going to join the team this year, but Kyle Whittingham talked about needing outside receivers, in spring ball, throughout spring ball, and these are guys that fit that role, guys that fit that vertical threat. And so Jason Beck, Micah Simon, adding two players that really fit that role is really encouraging and exciting, in their first year with the program. So, looking at the impact of their commitments, it was pretty significant. Utah jumped 25 spots in 24/7 Sports team rankings. They started this week ranked as the 69th best class in the country and jumped all the way to 44th following the commitment of the Pula twins, which is a pretty significant jump for only three prospects. So, and if you watched or listened to the last episode, I talked about 24/7 Sports team rankings and talked about how these potential additions would significantly boost Utah's class ranking. And that's just due to the fact that you now have a higher ceiling and more room for points in your team score. And so, with Obot serving as the tentpole in this class right now, you like. Obviously, he's a mid 4-star prospect, which is the highest rated prospect in the class. Utah has the potential to raise the ceiling even higher in the class with how things are trending for Utah and the number one prospect in the state of Utah, Celesi Moa. So, on Thursday, Rivals / On3 VP Steve Wiltfong. That's interesting. The Rivals On3 thing. It'll be interesting to see, how that shakes out. I thought, obviously with my background being 24/7 Sports, that 24/7 is the standard. They just have the manpower. They have the boots on the ground that, these other sites in the industry just don't have. And they have really good people that evaluate, that do a good job, that do a fair job. I think 24/7 Sports is certainly the standard. But, over the last couple of years, and I'm going off on a tangent here, I apologize. But over the last couple of years, On3, I thought really made strides, in the industry, especially with their evaluations. They took a more aggressive approach in their evaluations where they really leaned into, athletic testing numbers and projections from, measurements and testing numbers in terms of how that translated to, potential NFL prospects. So, but they still have really good people that have served as the evaluators on their staff, guys that came from 24/7 Sports, made that move to On3. And so they've certainly had some interesting rankings and ratings, but I think they've been a good presence and an improving presence in the industry. And so now that they've merged with Rivals, which has been the longest standing site in the industry, it'll be interesting to see how those two merge and how they sort things out with their own individual rankings, because Rivals had their own, On3 had their own, and so all of that sorting it out is going to be interesting to follow over the next couple of months. But anyways, sorry for the tangent. But again, so Steve Wiltfong dropped the Fong bomb on Thursday, putting in a Utah prediction for Celesi Moa. This comes after 24/7 Sports, Blair Angulo, who's been all over Moa's recruitment and been pretty clued in on what's going on with Celesi. He shared that this is really a 2-team race, and it's believed that was Utah and Tennessee. So Utah's closing in on a commitment from Moa, which again would be pretty significant addition for a number of reasons. Most importantly, that Moa is just a damn good football player. So So we'll continue to follow that, but very encouraging signs. And Utah's been in a really good spot with him, and to now see it, after the month of visits, that they've emerged as the favorite to land his pledge is really exciting. But at the same time, I think it's important to remind everybody that you don't win anything in the month of July for your recruiting efforts. There's no awards, there's no trophies or anything like that. I think everybody gets that. I think everybody understands that. But just there's still a long ways to go between now and December. So, but at the same time, I do think that this is. I think fans should feel really encouraged about what they've seen this month from Utah on the recruiting trail with the work that they've done. I think it's a really good indication of where the program is at, where the vibes are at, with the coaching staff, with the players. I think all of those things are really encouraging and indicative of just kind of where the program is at. So, long ways of saying, be excited for what Utah's accomplished, but also understand that there's still a long ways to go, and that's a double-edged sword, right? Where now you have to play defense and keeping everybody in your class, and Utah showed last year that they're able to do that with keeping their guys committed despite their struggles. And I think Utah getting into the season and having a good year will go a long way for them, where it potentially opens up some possibilities of flipping players down the road, and so really exciting time. So really exciting time for Utah fans. A lot of hard work for Utah, and seeing the fruits of those labors bear out, and so just a lot of good work for Utah being done on the recruiting trail. And now to basketball. Alex Jensen's running Utes, picked up a commitment from Northwest Florida State junior college big man Joshua Hayes. He's a 6'10", 220-pound center slash forward who averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds this past season in 21 minutes of run. Hayes actually started his career at Appalachian State, where he played the 2023-24 season. So, Hayes told me that he'll be here early next week, Monday or Tuesday, one of those 2 days, and he'll come here with 2 seasons of eligibility remaining as well. Coach Chills led the efforts in recruiting Hayes to Utah, and his addition is a valuable one within the context of this being obviously the 14th player on the roster. But I think obviously with the size that he brings and the length that he brings to improve the depth in the front court in that center spot specifically, I think eases a lot of concerns for Utah fans. At the same time, I don't know that Hayes is ready to play a lot of minutes, especially in the Big 12. I do think there's a lot of encouraging signs and indications that he's got some talent, he's got some feel, he's got good touch around the rim. Obviously, you love the size and length that he has. But I do think Hayes needs to get stronger, especially, if we're talking about playing, 5 to 10 minutes in the Big 12. I think getting stronger is an absolute must between now and then. So really good addition. And again, with the 2 seasons of eligibility, and he probably has a red shirt available to him as well. So this could potentially be, a thing where he's here for 3 years, potentially. I think that also speaks to something that Coach Jensen and Wes Wilcox focused on, is bringing in guys with multiple years of eligibility where they can actually be here to help Alex build this program back up. So all in all, again, being the 14th edition on the roster, it's not going to get a ton of praise. It's not going to grab headlines, but this was a valuable addition for Utah and Alex Jensen, and specifically in terms of adding somebody that addresses a need, adding a presence that was lacking on the roster with his size and length, and I think just overall just a good addition to the roster. So with all of that out of the way, enough yapping from me. Let's get to my interview with LaMarcus Bell. All right, and joining me now, LaMarcus Bell, 3-star, should be bumped to 4-star running back out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. LaMarcus, man, welcome to the Blockcast, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Excited to be here.
Appreciate you, dude. I know it's been a busy summer for you and all that, so I appreciate you taking some time to talk just about yourself and about your recruitment and really just kind of get to know you. So really looking forward to this and appreciate you hopping on, man.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm excited for it too.
Cool. All right, dude. So let's start with the basics, man, and just kind of get to know you. Obviously, you're a talented player and all that, but outside of the game, outside of football and all that, just what do you like to do for fun? What do you enjoy doing, man?
Really, just see out here in Lake Oswego, we have a lake, so I'm on it like every day. I'm always on the lake with my friends, hanging with my
There you
friends.
go.
Play video games too. The college football game. I'm always on that. Playing this youth,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
stuff
There
like
we
that.
go,
Yes,
man.
sir. Normal kid stuff. Normal kid stuff. I'm not doing no getting in trouble or nothing.
No, for sure. So that's
Yes,
that's
sir.
awesome, man. So, are you playing different sports, track stuff like that? I know you've got some track times, but other sports and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I do track. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I wrestled a little bit my freshman year, so after that I kind of stopped. I couldn't do it no more. But yeah,
Got you, man. Well, cool, man. So, you've been posting a lot of your workouts and all that. Just how's the work been coming? How's the grind going? Just how are those workouts? How do you feel those workouts are helping you get prepared for your senior season?
really, the trainer I work with, Ralph Lambert, he just really pushes me to be the best player I can be. He's always getting me in the lab every day, texting me on tomorrow, 4th of July, I'm still gonna be
Yeah.
working, still gonna be in the lab. So he always gets me in that mindset. He played at Boise State, so he knows how it is to play
Oh,
D1
cool.
football and all that. So he just really gets me in that mindset of you know work even after high school football season, my college.
Love that, dude. That's great. And like that's gonna get you set up for success as you get into the college level and you get into those workouts, like having somebody that's been through it knows like how much work it actually takes. Like that'll get you a step ahead. So that's awesome, man. You had a pretty big junior season, 2,000 yards, 166 carries. Those are some big boy numbers, man. Those that's some work. What was that like getting that workload and being as productive as you were for your squad?
I mean, it was just all the trust that coaches put in me. They always said I could be a good player since my freshman year. Since I got there, they've always said they see me doing big things for them. So just to have that amazing junior season, because they say that season is the best, the
Yeah.
most important. So having that good junior season just helped me, get to where I want to be now. So it was a really great season. Came short in the championship, but we're gonna get it this year. It happens. We
I
just
was
we
just
just gonna
gonna
get our
ask.
get
Yeah.
back. Yep, yep.
Love that, dude. Well, that's cool, man. And like you said, the junior season is kind of the big year for a lot of prospects. And so, obviously, getting ready for your senior season, you just had a busy month, on the recruiting trail and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, you've got your commitment in place and all that. And for you, as you started to get those offers coming in, what was this process like for you in terms of hearing from coaches, getting the phone calls, getting blown up, all that sort of stuff? Just what was it like, and what was your mindset as you tried to, and how you tried to approach your recruitment?
It was definitely stressful in the beginning, just
Okay.
experiencing all the stuff. Coaches telling you they want you at every other school, it was definitely really stressful. Even choosing my decision was stressful, but I just wanted to, always choose where I think I'll fit at home, and that was Utah. Coach Witt and my head coach where I'm at right now at Lake Oswego actually know each other. My coach
Oh yeah.
coached him when he was in, I think it was the USFL or something like that. He was his coach.
Whoa.
Because my coach, his dad, was the head coach, I want to say. So it was definitely, he told me Utah was a good school. We had a guy who was committed there at one point named Justice Lowe, who went through
Yeah.
Lake Oswego. He's at Oregon now. So he
Right.
told me it's a great program. I definitely loved the experience. It was a great experience, experiencing it with my family, friends, coaches. It kept me, it just really showed me how life works and how
Hmm.
and not everything's going to work out, and get me
Yeah.
prepared for the real world. So, people telling me the truth, being upfront with me,
Right.
you don't really get that a lot. So that definitely helped me with that situation.
That's awesome. So, what was their message to you in terms of what they liked about you, why they were recruiting you? What was their message? What was Mark Atuaya's message to you throughout the process?
he has a lot of faith in me. He thinks I can go in and do really good things in the offense that they have with Coach Beck. He said I fit perfectly. I take a lot of pride in my receiving skills.
Yeah.
So as a running back, that's how the game shifted now. So that's how they kind of use the running backs. They spread them out, let them play receiver, and that's something huge for me. I'm not big running back, type of
Right.
build. So definitely, he thinks I can do big things. He has a lot of faith in me. He's always had since he was at Washington State. He was my
Oh yeah.
second offer. So he's always had faith in me, and I love that. And he thinks I'm the perfect guy for him. So I got to show him I am.
That's cool, dude. That's way cool to have that long-standing relationship now at Utah with Coach Akwai. And man, he's so energetic. He's so fun to talk to. He really is. Do you have a favorite Mark Akwai like experience so far?
I would say the morning or the day I got to my visit, I was supposed to meet them in the outside the airport. I
Yeah.
get inside the airport and I get past my gate and all that. I'm like going to the baggage claim and they're already there. And he's like, he surprises me. I'm like, what? He's like, well, Marcus. I turn around, I'm like, what the heck? And I see him. He's
Yeah.
right. It was hilarious. He's like grabbing my shoulders. It's a really funny experience. My mom was like,
Just
oh,
hyped up.
yeah, really hyped up. I loved it.
That's cool, man. That's way cool. All right. So, first impression, you just mentioned, getting in for your official visit, getting to the airport and all that. They pick you up, they drive you up to campus. What's your first impression, Salt Lake City, the University of Utah?
It's a very beautiful city. It's the mountains with the big U in the middle. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a great experience. It doesn't look like it's too big of a city, but it's definitely a big enough city to where you feel like you have the city life and all that. So it was a great experience. Definitely really beautiful and really clean. I've never seen a city that clean in my life, I'm gonna be honest. So
Yeah, you sort of take that for granted, when
yeah,
you live in it, but you go to other places, other cities, and you realize quickly how clean it really is. So
yeah. And
that's
it looks so spacious. Like it looks like there's like so
yeah.
much like just like open space. It's beautiful.
Love that, dude. And so obviously first impression, but what was your favorite experience, favorite memory from your official visit? I know they do a lot with you and provide you a couple different experiences on your trip, but what was your favorite experience on your official visit?
I would say definitely meeting the whole staff. I kind of met them before on a
Hmm.
FaceTime call, but definitely meeting them, just feeling the love and feeling, all the things they've said to me to come true. Like they actually care. Like some staff will kind of tell you they care, and then you kind of get there and it's like, I don't know. But they
Yeah.
they really showed me true love, and I enjoyed that the most, especially after I committed. I didn't know they. I committed, and then I get downstairs and they're just all there, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? It like surprised me. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is definitely where I want to be. This is home. They care a lot for their players in general. Just seeing that too, see how much they care for their players and how they want their players to be developed and be really good people, not just players. So I
Mhm.
definitely love that aspect of it.
Awesome, man. And obviously player development is like you said, it's big, it's everything. Like Coach Whittingham, Coach Scally, they talk about, this is a player development program and you see it, right? With guys that they churn out into the NFL. So I'd be curious to get your thoughts on the offense. Obviously we talked about it a little bit, just kind of briefly, but how do you feel about your fit in Jason Beck's offense?
Like I said earlier, I mean, I take a lot of pride in my running back receiving skills. So that offense is going to be amazing. I'm really excited for it. We kind of try to do that at my high school now with running
Uh-huh.
backs. So I feel like it's almost a perfect fit, just what I've done in the past. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. The quarterback I have with me, Michael Johnson, that he's gonna be really good with it too. So I'm excited.
That's cool. And so is there like a running back that you sort of model your game after, somebody that you enjoy watching or somebody that maybe you find yourself watching more film on because that's sort of the running back like you want to be or need to be? Is there somebody that you watch in that sense?
I would say definitely Christian McCaffrey. He's a
Okay.
receiving
Yeah.
running back.
He's a good one to
He's
watch.
everything. He can do everything.
Yeah.
So definitely, I definitely try to model my game after him. He's a really good player, really good person in general too. So I met him one time, so it was a great experience meeting him, seeing my role model. So most definitely.
That's awesome. That's way cool. I'll tell you, so a player that you remind me of in watching your film, and we'll pull up some clips here in just a sec. But it's pretty easy because he just played there last year, finished up his career. Mekhi Bernard. I think it's probably partly the number 2 that you guys both wear and all that, but very similar, right? In high school, where you guys were athletic, you guys were pass catchers, and Mekhi over time turned into a true workhorse and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I sort of see you on that same path. Is that a goal of yours to be a complete, well-rounded back capable of handling a big workload?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the goal. Always the goal. I want to be a back you can rely on all 3 downs, all 4 downs, however long you need me in the game. I always want to be in the game, put in the work, helping the team get better, blocking for my quarterback, everything. So,
yeah,
most definitely.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. All right, dude. And then one last thing. I've got to ask this. Somebody asked me to ask this. So you committed, and you've kind of been playing a little recruiter. I know that you've been talking with Jaron Kennan Pula and all that. Just how much were you talking with them and in their ear about coming to Utah?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day. As soon as I saw they decommitted, well, they kind of told me what was going on. They were kind of thinking about where they wanted to go. So then once they decommitted, I was on it. Every day I was calling them, texting them, like, y'all know where home is. Y'all know where to go. Stay home. Come be a U, all that. So once I saw that crystal ball, I was like, yep, I know we got him. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then to see it today, they committed earlier today. Just how fired up were you to see that? And did you send them a text or anything like that afterwards?
Oh, they told me they committed before they even announced it. So I was already on it. I was like, yeah,
you knew.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I was excited, ecstatic, really ecstatic.
That's awesome, man. All right, dude. Let's get to some of these clips here. This is one. So I want to watch this play in particular because I wish we had the end zone view, because I think these cuts that you make are just it's wild. Like you don't really get to appreciate it, but as you're going through this play, right? What are you seeing? You take the handoff and boom, you've got guys in the backfield. But just what are you looking for? What are you keying on? What's your reaction as you take the handoff here?
I kind of got the ball, and I saw those guys in the backfield, and I was just like, oh, I got to make a move. So I kind of set them up, hit them with a 1-2, and then just took off from there, using my speed, using my skills with that. So that's definitely, yeah. It was a very, very surprising play for even myself. I didn't expect myself to get out there. Seeing 2 guys in the backfield, you're like, oh, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I wish we had the end zone view from here, because these cuts that you make back to back, like this is absurd stuff. Like it just, oh man, just collecting ankles out there.
Got to get it.
All right, and the next play here. This is another one where you sort of, it looks like a little inside zone, little delay counter type of run, and then you bounce it to the outside. Same thing, man. Just what are you seeing as you take the handoff, and what's sort of your cadence here with the play?
So it was an inside zone. I want to say it was supposed to go to the left. I got to the ball. It was not going to the left. I had to make a move.
Yeah.
Had to get outside. No matter what way I go, definitely had to make a play on this play. So it was first drive of the game. Got to set the tone. Saw guys broke tackles, guys diving up my legs, couldn't get me. So it was definitely a big play for us.
Awesome, man. And then this last one here, I got to go find it here. I got to remember. Oh, this is the one right here. Another one. Big play here, right? You're backed up again in your own end zone. Looks like another inside zone type handoff, and you bounce it outside, and boom, you're off to the races down the sideline. And shout out to the homie here, right here. Shout out to him leading the way. Just what's your goal as you get to the outside here and you see the daylight and all that? Just what are you thinking as you see the open field?
So it was 1st and 34. So right there, I'm already.
Oh,
it was definitely a hard situation. We had 3 back-to-back false starts. Just a lot of guys talking, communicating, not really, being able to hear the play. It was loud, very loud game. So it was definitely a hard situation, and the coaches put trust in me running the ball on 1st and 34. I mean, don't really expect that.
34.
they put trust in me, so I just had to show them, I can do what they need me to do on this play. So I kind of bounced it to the outside, saw a couple guys. One of the safety is like 6'4", 6'5". I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna have to make a play on him. So I get outside, kind of break tackles, see in the field, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gone. Definitely, it was
Yeah.
definitely a huge play for us, getting us back in that game. Want to say we were down a touchdown this play, so it was definitely a huge play
Oh,
for us, getting us back in that swing. So.
yeah. That definitely probably swung the momentum back in your favor, huh?
Yeah, they were getting hyped. They got three false starts. They were like, oh, the crowd's getting hyped. They're like, oh, we're about to stuff them, and I just had to show them I can do what I can do.
Love it, dude. That's awesome. Well, like I said, just wanted to walk through a couple plays there, just to kind of highlight the skill set, highlight the ability there, and appreciate you walking me through that. And dude, like I said, appreciate you hopping on. This has been great. This has been a lot of fun. Last question here for you: what's going to be, as we get into July, in terms of what you want to accomplish as a football player, what you want to accomplish as a commit in Utah's class, in terms of recruiting other guys, that sort of thing. Just what is your mindset as you enter in your senior season and get closer to, signing with Utah in December and all that sort of stuff? Just what's your focus and what are you working on?
Really, just getting better. Definitely getting better, getting the team better, getting the class better. Like you said earlier, recruiting them guys, getting all the guys we need. You don't sign till December, so
Right.
as long as I can get on those guys, get the guys we need. Just getting the class better. That's my main goal. I'm not really a selfish person. I want to get better myself, but I also want to see the team get better. Go to the Natty. So that's definitely my
Yeah.
goal. So, and win a state championship. With my team this
Yeah.
year in high school. So getting the team better is
Awesome,
definitely
dude.
always the goal.
Awesome, dude. That's great. Appreciate that. And we'll have you on again. We'll have you on the blockcast again down the road. We'll catch up mid-season, see how things are
Sure.
going for you and all that. But LaMarcus, man, appreciate you hopping on. This has been great to get to know you, to chop it up a little bit and just man, excited for you. I know Utah fans are excited for you and fired up about you, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I love Utah, love the fans, and it's go Utes.